Hey, what's up you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Before we begin this video, I do want to thank everyone that has shown love on my last video. The comments, the DMs, and people telling me how much they loved it and my room's aesthetic. I want to let you know that I appreciate you. If you have not seen that video, and if you're new here, subscribe down below and click the link up in the cards to watch the previous video. But as you have seen the title of this video, Miss Rona pretty much came into my life and took over randomly. It was honestly one of the most scary experiences I've ever had in my whole life. January 2020, I was in Paris. I didn't get back to New York until the second week of January. I didn't hear anything as it relates to COVID the whole month. It was the month of February, and I remember being on the train going to school. I was on my Snapchat and I seen something that said like how people are eating live animals, IG stories on how eating some of these things can cause diseases. And about a week later, I started to hear COVID this, COVID that. Everyone stated how it was just in China and a few people died. See, I didn't think anything of it because I remember hearing the same thing about Ebola. And soon after, everyone started to make a joke about it. Like, everyone was saying how everyone had Ebola. Like, you have Ebola. Everyone had Ebola. As you guys all know, numbers began to increase really quickly. It was in the US, then it was in New York. For the record, I'm a huge germaphobe. I'm that type of person where if someone coughs, I'm like, yeah. Going into March, I was still going to school, still going to work. When I tell you that these buildings started to clear out, school became emptier, attendance was low, people started to call out, and I really couldn't help but to ask myself, wait, why am I not home? Y'all don't know how bad I wanted to skip class. 1 minute, I was like, let's go to the park. But then again, I was like, the virus could be in the park. Skip class, go to the park, virus being in the park, get the virus when I could have been at school, virus free. I was literally like, what's going on here? Like, what's really going on? Crazy part too is that my school had just got back from the Italy trip, the same place that stated they had the most cases. Just before their flight back to New York, Italy had just closed their airports. So knowing me, I'm a germaphobe. I wanted to speak to the principal, whoever was in charge. I was like, wait a minute. Wait a damn minute. I really became that person where it was like, all the Italy kids had to leave the building ASAP. Like, I'm sorry, but y'all gotta go. I was seriously not playing. It was really like, before I spoke to anyone at school, I had to ask them, you went to Italy? I would have just walked away. People started to wear masks. I feared those masks. Before all this, I've always seen people in masks that were sick. You were sick, so you had to wear a mask. They didn't want anyone else to get sick. They didn't want anyone else to have what they had. Although that may have not been the case for some people, y'all, I was not having it. I would be on the platform and I would like walk into the train tracks to avoid the person walking next to me. I was that scared. The door would open and I would run to catch it because I didn't want to touch the doorknob. Germaphobe 101. Like, seriously. I remember when I was in school, and for the first 2 periods, I was in the same classroom. First period, I was sitting in the back, and then for the second period, I was supposed to sit up front. There was this girl that was under the weather. She was just sitting there with her head down on the desk. She was like out of it. Watching her every move, what she touches. As soon as when that bell rang, I was going over there and I was spraying the whole thing down. Had bleach in my bag. That's how serious it was. Like, that whole area needed a good 5 minutes to rest. So second period, I go over there and it's the second period teacher. She's like mad cool. Asking her, does she has any Lysol? I went downstairs to go grab it. Honestly, if she didn't have that Lysol bottle, I probably would have sat in the back, somebody I didn't know, and shared a whole desk. She comes back up, wiping everything down, putting up the windows. What's crazy is that every time I would open up the window, this girl always shut it back. I don't blame her because it was wintertime. It was like around February. Every time I opened it, she would close it back. She closed it, I opened it back up. I was not playing. Although I didn't wear a mask, I always had a scarf around my neck that covered my nose and my mouth. One of the reasons why I didn't wear a mask, because we had them, but because in many ways I didn't want to believe that this was like our new reality. I knew from the second I started seeing people in masks that this was gonna become new society. Like SpongeBob, the movie, and everybody had a helmet on. I had this forensics class. Teacher was telling us it was almost impossible to catch this virus. The only way you would catch it is if you're like this close to someone. Like if someone coughs on one end of the train, you're in luck, you're all the way over there. Like you're far in luck because you're far over there. Thinking like, I'm never gonna get this virus. I'm never this close to anyone. When am I ever this close? Like, numbers were going up like crazy. Are people just going up to people's faces and just coughing in them? The way the numbers were moving, you weren't wrong for thinking the way I was thinking. How else are people getting this if you're not this close? Going around school, putting my bag in the next seat because I don't want anybody to sit next to me. Social distancing before social distancing was even a thing. All of a sudden, my school is now offering soap, which they never do, hand sanitizers. I was at work, I remember having the clothing rack, taking it to the front of the store. This lady was walking past me, literally coughed. I don't want to say that she coughed in my face, coughed as like when we were passing by each other. Couldn't even cover her, nothing. She didn't cover her mouth, she didn't turn to the, she just coughed into the air, and I was walking past her. After she did that, she was like going around the store shopping, and I was like grilling, like staring her down because I was just that upset. Like I was so upset. What's going on right now, like how people are getting sick, like you just coughed, like not even not out there. Like she was really just like doing it. She really did not care. There's a few times people had done that. They were walking, started coughing, and I just so happened to walk in that cough. Weird. Nothing like this lady at my job. Middle March, they shut down my school. Excited because I didn't have to go. But dang, because the whole city just became ghost town. Like Halloween town, everything was just gray. You didn't hear a pin drop. My job officially closed down on lockdown. So I'm home, celebrated my birthday, the 20th of March, in my mirror. Locked up in the room, watching videos and just minding my business. Going to Popeyes, few orders came in. Always sanitized the products that I received. Sprayed them down, washed my hands before eating, the whole thing. March 31st, I woke up off my loft bed to take attendance for my virtual class. This was high school. My breathing was a little funny. I didn't think anything of it because I had just gotten a humidifier. My room was hella smoky. All the smoke had went towards the ceiling. That's how high my bed was. Took attendance, went back to sleep. This time I'm hot and then I'm cold. Real hot, real cold. The idea of this virus being in my body was barely a thought. I was like, there's no way. I wouldn't even touch a doorknob. How? How? Ended up taking my temperature. Everything was real normal, but my breathing was different. By the way, I didn't know what shortness of breath was. I didn't know what that felt like, but I had shortness of breath. Obvious that it was shortness of breath. I was really out of breath. I didn't speak for long. Around the time in which I was applying for colleges, so many things to get done. I remember being on the phone with my college office, and I had to give the phone to my mom because I could barely speak. Like I had to prioritize breathing. That night, taking my temperature, I said that I had a fever. So much going on in my body to the point where I couldn't even think for myself. Just wasn't used to. I'm at my desk with my blanket, just taking it on and off. Drunk some tea, went to sleep. Middle of the night, woke up, and this time worse. Could barely make it off of the loft bed. As I'm walking to the bathroom, felt like I was gonna pass out. Ended up pulling a kitchen chair, sitting down to catch my breath. Just walked 5 steps. Just 5 steps. The smoke was like making it difficult to breathe. Humidifier is there to kill bacteria, virus. Couldn't breathe with the humidifier on, making it worse. Walking into like a pile of smoke with shortness of breath. Can't even describe the feeling. Needed emergency help. He sat in my room because I needed my phone to call my mom to tell her I couldn't breathe. Y'all, my phone was on the loft bed. Couldn't even manage to get back onto the loft bed to get my phone. The way how my room was set up, I had the bed that was against the wall, the desk that was also against the wall. Phone was charging, cord was coming down. I tried to reach up there to pull the cord to bring the phone closer to me so I can be able to grab it. Could barely do that. It was just difficult. Sat there trying to pull my phone down for 5 minutes, stopping and starting. All day I was out of breath, so I had to stop and get my oxygen together, go back and try to do it again. Finally got the phone. My mom finally came, called the ambulance, me outside front porch to get some fresh air, which felt way better. Once they came, they looked at me like, I'm sorry, we can't help you right now. Can't help you. I felt like crying. If I started crying, I didn't have oxygen to support me crying. Me setting myself up. Telling us how people were dying from it. Hospitals were full. Telling the lady that I had needed a ventilator. I don't even know what a ventilator was, but I told her that I needed a ventilator, and she was like, no, ma'am. Just go. I'll suffer at home. They recommended me to take a shower to help bring the fever down because my fever skyrocketed. I ended up sleeping on the floor. Couldn't make it back up to the bunk bed. Because it's so high, felt like as if the ceiling was like caving in on me. From that night forward, I lost weight like crazy. I didn't eat, but I couldn't hold it down. Prescribed medication and took lots of Tylenol, and too much Tylenol. Tylenol that helped me was the PM Tylenol. I was asleep for a split second. I didn't feel all of the aches and pains. I was sleeping. My symptoms were shortness of breath, was my very first symptom and the last symptom, most painful. I had severe body aches, drunk morning, day, and night. Fever, 104. I think that was the highest number. I was given ice packs. Ice packs would literally become hot packs. Body would literally warm them in a matter of seconds. Hot pockets. I was like so confused. Aches, nausea, vomiting, fatigue, chills. I had everything except for heavy dry cough and a sore throat. Those are like the worst. I remember vomiting, yet I had shortness of breath, and my brain was literally like, you're gonna vomit or you're gonna breathe because you can't do both. need oxygen to actually throw up. I wanted to faint every time I took a shower. The steam that kind of made me nauseous. I had to get out of the bathroom quickly. Taking a shower helped. Couldn't get out of the bathroom quickly. It was almost as if I had ran a long distance and couldn't breathe. The first week of April, I don't remember. I didn't know where my phone was, what was happening to me. April 10th was the night in which I went to the emergency room. It was like, I just can't breathe. Walking super slow to the car. Everything hurted. 2 hours for me to be seen. One of the nurses was like, why are you breathing like that? Relax, it's okay. And I'm like, once you have this, you figure out a way to come tell me how your experience was. They took my blood, went under this huge machine scanner thing, finally took a test, came back positive. They said there was like fluid in both of my lungs, caused me to breathe the way I was breathing. Shout out to all the frontline workers. One lady that was in there, she was like super nice. Although she was really nice, she tried it though. Like when she was doing a swab, jammed the thing up my nose. So fast, so hard. Then again, I was like being extra. I was even holding her hand. So that's probably why she did what she did. And the lady was like, I hope I got it. I think I got it. And I was like, I pray you got it because I'm not doing this again. After taking that test, I felt like my nose was bleeding. She was just typically really supposed to be gentle, but she was just like, I was sick for a month. Shortness of breath, she was just not gonna go away. I was scared because I actually thought it wasn't gonna go away. Some of my symptoms weared off. That was just one lingering thing. It was still kind of just there. Second week of May, I got another test. This time she was way more gentle. For one, it came back negative. I was finally getting back into the groove of things, asking myself like, what just happened? I almost didn't remember anything. Like February, March, I'm ducking and dodging and still get hit by the ball. Luckily, no one in my immediate household got sick from me, which I'm extremely thankful for. I had this, witnessed it. Just please be safe. Like, wear your mask. A version of the common cold, 10 times worse. God, those days are behind me. How I could have had gotten this craziness, maybe at school, maybe at work, maybe that lady at my job. Keep in mind, I do work in the city. At one point, that was a polluted area. Video number 2 is down. Yeah. If you guys enjoy watching this video, please don't forget to subscribe for more content, like, comment. See you guys in my next one.